Here we go. Hi, we're going to do a quick little class to show you the difference between attach and weld. So I know that there's a lot of confusion out there about what's the difference between attach and weld. I'm going to try to clear that up. And I'm going to take these and align them to the top. And then I'm going to duplicate these. So, let's make these a lighter color because I think that helps show the difference also. Okay, for these top two hearts, if I select both of them, because they're touching and overlapping here, when I weld them, they're going to fuse them into one image. So watch when I hit weld, right in here. It's where you're watching. See how it fused the two of them together? So now it's one shape. If I did that same thing, oops, let's move those a little bit further apart. Good. If I did that same thing, but hit attach, all it does is hold the placement and positioning of the hearts. They're still overlapping. When this goes to cut, it is still going to cut two hearts, but it's going to come and cut this overlap piece. So if I click make it, and you see this go to the next screen, you will see here is the welded hearts. They're joined together. Here are the attached hearts. They're literally just holding the position. One thing I really like to use weld for is for attaching letters on my text. So if we did the word love, and then found kind of a scripty font. Let's find something pretty. Okay. So I'm going to also change this to a lighter color because I really do think seeing this all happen in a lighter color helps. Oh, you know what? First, let's do this. Let's bring my letter spacing closer together. Okay, so for weld to work, things have to be touching. So you can see here, the O is touching the B. You can also see that there's a little black line right there. And that means it's going to cut this O and then going to cut the B. And there would still be 4 separate letters unless I use weld. And see how that little line between those 2 letters went away? So now it's going to cut the L separately because it's not touching anything else. That's going to cut the O and the B in one continuous shape. And then it will cut the E last. So we can see that when we go to the Make It screen, the O and the B are touching each other, so they are connected together. And that's why weld works for that. I will go over things again because there's people joining, but basically weld joins 2 or more things into one image, and attach holds the placement and positioning. Let's play with just attach. So since attach holds the placement and positioning, I made this a rectangle, for example. And I made it 4 by 6. Okay. And now I insert another shape of a score line. And I make that, let's rotate that so it goes this way. Make it 4 inches long. So now if I select both the score line and the rectangle, I can use a line to center them on top of each other. And then over my lower right corner, I can hit attach. And now that score line is attached to the center of this rectangle. So basically I made a card face. When I resize it, bigger or smaller, it stays, that score line stays centered because I attached it. If I go to the Make It screen, you can see that score line is still attached right in there. So let's go back to text. Let's do happy. Okay, so if we move our letter spacing closer together, because the idea is we want the letters to be touching. And now you can see, here's another trick. The H and A are touching, but then the PPY is kind of still separated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ungroup button. So now each letter is a separate letter. And I am going to bring the Y in. Those are never really going to touch because it's just the way the letters work. So I could attach the two of these to hold the spacing because nothing's touching. And then because, well, I'm going to change this. Let's do this. I really feel like you see it happen better with a light color because that black line is the cut line. You can see where they're touching now. So watch either right in here or right in here as I hit the weld button. See how those cut lines went away? So now how this is going to cut is the HAP will cut as one continuous shape, and they'll cut the second P and the second Y. Because these are welded together and these don't touch, so I just did attach. Okay, so when you go and make it, the Cricut is trying to save space, so it jumps the P and Y up here. I can drag it back down, or if I wanted to make sure that all cut on the same line, I could take the whole thing and tell it to attach all of that, because that's going to hold the positioning. And now when I go to make it, it held the positioning. The other thing you can use attach for is if you were cutting a whole bunch of parts. I'm going to duplicate this. Okay, so if I just had all these hearts on here and I might make it, the Cricut spaces them out so that it cuts them all. But what if I wanted to try to save a little space? And I took this one and flipped it vertically so that I could scooch them in closer. And then I flipped this one vertically and scooch that way in there closer. Now, if I take all of those, so it's over 11. Okay, if I change this to 11.5, so it fits. Okay, so now if I attach this, attach is holding the position and location. So now if I hit make it, see how it held the positioning? So I could get all four of them on one cut across. I'm going to unmute you guys. Do you have any questions? Any questions at all? Go ahead and talk.
No.
Okay. All right, so that's how weld works different from attach. If there's no other questions, I guess we could end this early because that was the main thing. If you do have a question, just unmute yourself so that I thought we used to have a chat in here. For some reason, I cannot see it. Oh, chat. Here we go. There's a chat. So if you have a question, you can also type in the chat. How I got to the chat is under more on my control. Okay, there you go. So if you want me to show something else, I'm more than happy to, but I need to know what you want to learn to do. The main goal of this one was to go over the difference between weld and attach. But I have another 10 minutes until this meeting session expires, so I missed the beginning of the weld. Okay, I can do weld again. Do you want me to do weld with shapes or weld with letters? Both are possible. Yep. Okay, so when I first started, I did weld with some shapes. And let's see, let's do this. Oh, you know what? I'm going to make both of these a lighter color because I think weld is easier to see it happen with a light color because now you can see the blue of the shape, but you can also see this black line, which is where the cutting happens. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So for these top two hearts, I am going to weld them. Weld is going to join the two hearts in the location that they're overlapping. So watch this line as I hit weld. See how the line went away? And then, yes, I can show how to curve text right after this. So now attach holds positioning. So if I attach, that cut line is still there. So it's going to still cut two separate hearts. The problem is where this overlap is, you're going to have a cutout of this heart in that heart. Here, these are going to be two shaped hearts. So let's go make it. And you can see this is cutting as one piece. This is cutting two hearts, but they're sticking right next to each other. And to do that with text, well, since I have some text in here, let's show curving text too, okay? So I'm going to move the letters a little bit closer together. And then for curving text, just hit on this curve button and there's a little sidebar. And see that? You can curve the text up or down. That's all it is to curving text. Gail, I see that you're on your iPad. There is no curved text function on the iPad. You have to be on the desktop version. I don't know why Cricut doesn't put it on the iPad, but it just is. Okay, so now we've already kind of played with this, and I tried moving the letters closer together. And my HA worked good, but these aren't close enough for me. So I'm going to ungroup them. When you ungroup, now instead of working as a word, it works as individual letters. So now I can bring the P over. So if I have the H, A, and P touching each other, see how there's the little overlap there? If I select all three of those, watch that little overlap area. When I hit weld, it went away. So with the P and the Y, they don't touch. So there's absolutely no reason to weld them. But if I wanted to cut exactly like I have it here, and I select everything and attach, that's going to hold my placement. So when I go make it, it's the H, A, and P are all cutting in one continuous cut. Then the second P is going to cut on its own, and the Y will cut on its own. So just remember, weld fuses things together and attach holds the placement. Does that clear it up? Oh, I know what else I wanted to show you guys. So I'm running a contest right now on my blog. So I would really love it if you have not already gone over to my blog right here at the Crafty Chicks blog and go to the Caesar Unicorn project. And this is a project I just did recently using the new spring colors from Caesar. They're great pastels and fun colors to work with. But if you scroll all the way down here, you can enter to win some Caesar vinyl. So all you have to do is follow them on Instagram, like my blog on Facebook, and Heat Transfer Warehouse is the place that will be mailing out the vinyl. So like them on Facebook too. That would be great. I will put the link to this project so you can enter the contest on my Facebook group. Any other questions? We got about 7 more minutes left. So if you've ever wanted to ask a question, you think I can answer it in 7 minutes, now is your time. Oh, thank you for joining me. I need to do this kind of stuff to stay sane through all the craziness that we're going through. So I'm hoping to do more of these. If you don't have any more questions, we can end the meeting, and then I will put the recording of this meeting out on my YouTube channel so that if you want to reference it again, you can see it then. All right. Thanks for joining.